plans for a robo-taxi service. Do you consider Tesla a competitor?
Well, they certainly could be, right? If they develop it, it's exactly the same thing that you said, which is if they develop their own AV vehicle and they decide to go direct only through the Tesla app, they would be a competitor. And if they decide to work with us, then we would be a partner as well. And to some extent, again, both can be true. So I don't think it's going to be an either or. I think Elon's vision is pretty compelling, especially like you might have these cyber shepherds or these owners of these fleets, et cetera. Those owners, if they want to have maximum earnings on those fleets, will want to put those fleets on Uber. But at this point, it's unknown what his intentions are.
There's this big debate that's playing out right now about who has the better AV strategy between Waymo and Tesla, in the sense that the Waymos have many, many sensors on them.
Yes.
The vehicles are much more expensive to produce. Tesla is trying to get to full autonomy using only its cameras and software. And Andrej Karpathy, the AI researcher, recently said that Tesla was going to be in a better position in the long run because it ultimately just had a software problem, whereas Waymo has a hardware problem, and those are typically harder to solve. I'm curious if you have a view on this, whether you think one company is likelier to get to a better scale based on the approach that they're taking with their hardware and software.
I mean, I think that hardware costs scale down over a period of time. So sure, Waymo has a hardware problem, but they can solve it. I mean, the history of compute and hardware is like the costs come down very, very significantly. The Waymo solution is working right now, so it's not theory, right? And I think the differences are bigger, which is Waymo has more sensors, has cameras, has LiDAR, so there's a certain redundancy there. Waymo generally has more compute, so to speak. So the inference of that computer is going to be just better, right? And Waymo also has high definition maps that essentially makes the problem of recognizing what's happening in the real world a much simpler problem. So under Elon's model, the weight that the software has to carry is very, very heavy. Versus the Waymo and most other player model, where you don't have to kind of weigh as much on training, and you make the problem much simpler as a compute problem to understand. I think eventually both will get there.
But if you had to guess, like, who's gonna get to sort of a viable scale first?
Listen, I think Elon eventually will get to viable scale, but for the next 5 years, I bet on Waymo, and we are betting on Waymo.